What is going on, you guys? It is Typical Mulatto here, and thank you for coming across this video. Thank you for coming across this channel. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope you'll come back soon after this. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe down below for Mulatto Gelato, like the video, and comment with anything you have to say. I'll be sure to get back to you in no time. So today, guys, I want to be bringing you guys another back to basics, but today we're going to be talking about competitive search and destroy, how you can become a better competitive search and destroy player, because a lot of people I have been seeing have been transitioning from public to competitive, and they're not just playing variant, but the main focus is on search and destroy. Especially when it comes to MLG, there are a lot of new players nowadays playing search and destroy only. On UMG, it's a little bit more competitive, which this gameplay here is UMG. I go 22-5 in a UMG S&D against a 19-1 team who apparently, were the best by the way they were shooting bodies and acting up on the first map that we lost. In the second map, I had to take to them and give them the 22-5 S&D God mode. But let's put that aside, and there's some tips that I want to give you guys on how you can become a better S&D player. Now, with competitive S&D, you want to be able to outplay your opponent. Map awareness is very key when playing your opponents in both a unorthodox manner and playing them in a very structured manner. So when it comes to trying to defend, what you want to do is make sure you're getting your cutoff. Make sure you're playing patient. You don't want to push out on defense. What you want to do is get a setup going, get in a spot where you can watch a cross, or you can understand where somebody is coming from, or you can get in a head glitch and properly watch a lane, because what your main focus is getting a first pick. Once you get your first pick, you're immediately almost guaranteed a round in a sense, unless somebody is just that much better than you and can clutch up, because what you're wanting to do is get a first pick and you're wanting to get out of the area. You want to stay alive, because then that immediately gives your team a one-man advantage, and that gives you an extra trade opportunity. For instance, if you were to play a 3-on-4, or actually a 4-on-3, you're on the team with 4 people because you just got the first pick. What you want to do is the person that gets the pick wants to back off so that you can recoup and you can end up getting a 4v3 situation. Now, with that 4v3 situation, or just in S&D in general, there is a big thing with trading. You have to be able to trade out. If one of your teammates dies, you've got to be in distance to kill the guy that killed your teammate, because if that happens, then you're the one stuck in a 3v4 situation as opposed to a 3v3 situation or 2v3, whatever the situation may be. Now, when it comes to wanting to play offense, something that you want to do is also be able to trade, but you want to be able to be confident. You want to know plays that will outsmart somebody. This is where the mental game becomes strong. Now, when playing offense on S&D competitively, you have to have confidence. You have to understand what your abilities are when winning gunfights, and you have to understand what are possible opportunities for you to get a first pick. Now, it's not as easy when you're on offense, because of course you have the defense already set up or watching crosses and whatnot. You just have to be able to push out and win your gunfights, but there are multiple ways that you can play offense. For instance, if teams commonly go to B on one map, then it is very likely that they're only going to send one person to A, or they're going to full stack B. If they're only sending one person, then you want to push out that one person and get bombed down. Or you can play even further mind games and push that one person out and then push through the opponent's spawn and catch them off guard trying to rotate onto the bomb in which they think your team is at, which thus results in an easy round if you have a little bit of gun skill. Now, I know gun skill doesn't matter that much, but when it comes to gun skill, it does matter when you're trying to push out a team, and also it does matter when you're in a clutch situation, unless your defensive team is just straight pushing you out when you're the only person left and you're sitting around waiting. I don't know why they would do that, but that's usually the case with some teams that end up losing. Also, something that you can take into consideration is being able to understand flanks. You always want to have somebody that can potentially flank, or you want to have somebody that can watch your flank. Make sure you guys are not all watching the same way. A lot of people get caught off by all watching in front. Because you're so focused on something, you have to remember that it only takes like 15 seconds or 10 seconds to get across a map. By that time that everything is registered in your mind of what you're doing, where you're going, somebody can already be behind you, especially if you're not watching that way. That's just something else to take into consideration. I'm trying not to go too in depth, because there's a lot of little things that you guys just have to work on through like consistent gaming and just understanding what people do. You just want to be able to adapt to people's routes. You want to be able to get cutoffs. You want to run smoke plays. You want to be able to know what to pick and ban if you're playing CWL. You want to know what your advantages are, but the main factors are getting first pick, backing off, playing your team together, being able to trade. Those are the biggest factors in becoming a better Call of Duty S&D player. I kid you not, if you can trade, if you can rotate at the right time, if you can wrap at the right time back to respawn to another site, if you can team together and get trades, then you're good to go. It's that simple, guys. Just watch the gameplay over and you'll see everything that I'm talking about, and guys, remember, stay more than typical. Peace. If you haven't already, make sure you click on my previous video here on the screen. Click that annotation, you'll go right there. Subscribe for Mulatto Gelato, like the video, comment with anything you have to say. I'll be sure to get back to you in no time. Remember guys, stay more than typical. Always stay more than typical. Be yourself. Peace.